Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Call It Anything podcast. I am Jack, joined by my guest,
Mr. Solis.
and we are back here today with another episode getting into wrestling. Been quite some time because there hasn't been many events, and Mr. Solis and I haven't really been compelled to cover anything outside the WWE at this current moment, so that's why there's been some time. But before we even get into the wrestling, sir, how have you been?
I've been fine, Jack. We just came back from spring break. It was much needed and felt good to, not need to be anywhere for 5 days. And we're back, and we've got about 2 months left. And I don't remember if I shared this with the Castillos, but I made it known to my school leadership team that I am transitioning back into the classroom full time.
Yeah, I think you might have said that off podcast the other time that we did it, but yeah, I remember you telling me the news. Because I also
So
had
at
to
some point,
share.
I need to sit down and send my resume to places. It's getting late in April, and over spring break, I sent one application into the old Alliance Network, and that's a little wait and see.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever said it on the podcast, but I told Mr. Solis off the podcast I finally have a job.
Woo!
I'm no
The work.
longer I'm no longer the unemployed homie and all those memes on Instagram talking about your unemployed friend sending you like hundreds of reels.
Hold on, I downloaded this to annoy and make my niece laugh. Say that again, sir.
It was the unemployed friend sending you like a hundred reels a day, like it was like a meme.
Did you hear that?
No, I don't think your mic picked it up.
Okay, hold on. Let me make it louder. You said that you were the subject of the unemployed friend meme.
I don't think it's picking it up.
Hey, it's so loud. I downloaded the Vine Boom so that
Oh,
I can roast and it seemed appropriate.
yeah, that was some news I got to share with Mr. Solis. And it was funny because on my first day, I went in. And then when I got out, I went to check my phone. And I just see all these notifications. And I was like, so I'm on the other end of it now.
Yeah. Oh boy. They know. My friends know. They're gonna tell me something. I'm gonna see it at 4:30.
Yeah. I don't even really check during my breaks because the place I work at doesn't have good internet. Like, it's
Helpful.
weird. Like, you go outside the building, you can get service. You're inside, you don't
Oh,
get
I need
any
to
service.
start. I need to start sending you not only more wrestling memes, but the memes that my sister and I send each other about. So a good one that happened this weekend. This woman is standing by her microwave, calling sick. Saying that she's at the hospital while they're doing tests, and she's just pressing a button to go beep, beep, beep. She's like, "Yeah, I'll let you know what they say and what comes out of it, but just giving you the heads up." She's just mimicking the beep, beep.
Oh, man. But that's good to hear, sir. Another
Family's
step in the
good.
right
You have a good
direction.
Easter.
Yeah, I had to work, but that
Mm.
was because that was on me. I got it confused with the previous Sunday. So like when I saw I
Mm.
had the previous Sunday, I was like, oh, I don't need to call Easter off. And then it wasn't until later I realized too late that that's not Easter. It was the past
Easter
Sunday
was
that just
late.
happened. Yeah. Luckily though, they closed early and it was only like a 4 hour shift that I worked. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, so still got to go in the morning to church and go celebrate my parents' anniversary, and then come home in time to go to work.
How many years have they been married?
34, I believe, and then it's
Wow.
38 when you count dating, I believe.
Ah, how cute.
Yeah,
So
so
they've been together for as long as I've been alive.
yeah, and not only that, they've pretty much known each other since like they were kids
That's cute.
because they live like close enough to each other,
Hmm.
and her brother and my dad are like you could call them best friends. Like even before they became,
Mm.
in laws, they were like they were best friends pretty much all throughout school.
That's cute.
Yeah, they have a real nice story.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else from my side. pretty much just working, being a hard worker, you know.
Oh, your first year of filing taxes will be next year.
Yeah, next year.
I helped my brother do his over the phone while he's in Idaho. That's a yearly tradition that's picked up steam. Um, yeah. Anything else, Jack?
Oh well, the listeners can't see it, but I can show you. You know, working man now, which means I get a check, I get money to use. Obviously, I give a portion to my parents to help out, you know, with bills and stuff. But you ask yourself, what is a young man like me using his money for? You know, is he using it for clothes, shoes, games? No, as Mr. Solis can tell from the shirt I'm wearing, I use it for Pokemon plushes.
All right.
And
Yeah, that is quite the assortment of water Pokemon.
well, as you can tell, the last
Wordle.
3 generations, I've unfortunately drifted away from the water starters, but for the most part, I was going a long way with the water starters because that's been my type since I was a kid. But
Yeah.
the last 3 generations, I haven't been too fond of the water type. Oh, and I'm missing Oshawott from Gen 5 because the one that they have on the site is like 20 something bucks for like to me it's not worth the price when there's a cheaper one that will later become in stock, you know. So I was like,
Hey, Jack, that poster on your wall, is that Hatsune Miku? I've heard of her.
which one?
You've got 2 of them, don't you? 2 Hatsune Miku posters?
Where?
And then next to that, you got your My Hero Academia. I'm describing for the listeners what I'm looking at. You got, let's see what else is like super cringe and would embarrass my niece if I brought it up. You got your CM Punk. Yep, that's him. Collage of him doing the X arms.
Oh,
Right
well,
on your door.
something you can appreciate is that I started putting up some of my drawings to have decorations on the wall.
Hey, that's
White.
awesome.
I don't think. Oh well, you weren't. Well, you still were at the school, I think. But that's when I did in Miss Um's class sophomore year. She had us
The
do
Muse
album.
album.
Yeah, she had us do album covers, and so that's the one I chose. Yeah, so I started using my art because I was like, well, I don't want to spend money for the stuff I'm interested in to like decorate the room. Let me just use what I did with my own 2 hands.
And to be clear with the listener, I was just teasing Jack. He doesn't have any of the things that I was describing. I was just busting his chops.
Yeah, like that one time you tried to say I had a Phoenix Suns poster.
Because you live in Arizona. It's a Charles Barkley Phoenix Suns poster.
Oh man.
I was thinking about it, Jack. You know, you were saying that we don't, spend a podcast talking about things outside of WWE. And I'm like, no, and I don't even watch like Phillies baseball enough so we can talk about that.
Oh, trust me, it isn't pretty right now.
No,
No, it is
the
not.
Dodgers hosted a teachers appreciation night the first day of spring break, and they lost like 16-0. All the teachers were like, "Oh, is that how it is?"
It was funny. I think that same game. So there was a play where their center fielder like saved like a grand slam from happening, and I sent it in my group chat with friends because a bunch of them were Dodger fans. You know, Oscar, Ricky, and a couple other Dodger fans. So I sent it. I'm like, wow, what an amazing play from Andy Pages. Surely the Dodgers wouldn't go on to lose 13 or give up 13 runs afterwards. And then it was even worse because they lost like 16-0 like later. And it was funny because one of my friends was like, Jack, I'm not a hater, especially of Philly, but your rage bait is getting to me. I think I'm going to have to start hating on them now.
Wow. Speaking of rage baiting, I think one of the biggest stories outside WWE that I would like your quick hot take on are these rascally Death Riders.
Oh.
What's your opinion, Jack, about the state of the championship scene in AEW, if you can call it that, the briefcase scene in AEW?
Do I like John Moxley? Yes. Do I like Claudio Castagnoli? Yes. Do I like Pac? Yes. Do I like Wheeler Yuta? Yes. Do I like this Death Riders faction and story? No. I have not liked it. Literally, its best moments were literally when they showed up and murdered Danielson at All Out, and then they murdered him at Wrestle Dream in front of his home crowd, and then they didn't do anything to properly follow up on the story, at least in my opinion.
Well, the match with Orange Cassidy looked like it was the first of maybe a series of like OGs wrestling
Yeah.
him for the heart of AEW, but it stopped at Orange Cassidy. Then he started fighting Cope. Like he's the banner flag, the flag bearer. You're like, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Like the meme. You're not an AEW nothing. You're Cope.
Yeah, and then it's like I don't know, there was a lot of interesting stories they could have told, and then
Yeah.
like the worst part is Darby disappeared. He's supposed to be like the main guy, and he disappeared because he
Yeah.
wants to go climb Everest. Like, dude, like it's put us in a
Um,
state of limbo, and now, they don't want to pivot off of it.
Jack, it's a mountain, and there's only a certain time of year that you can feasibly and safely climb it. It's in the spring, and he didn't do it last year. So, like,
Wait, well, you remember last year he broke his ankle, which was God's sign of telling him don't do this, and yet he still is hell bent on doing it.
it reminds me like it's a worse situation, but comparable to LA Knight's feud with Jacob Fatu. There was like a long period of they didn't advance the story because that guy I don't think was allowed to travel to Europe. So they were in Europe for 3 weeks, and we were just like in a holding pattern until they got back to the States. So we're like holding our breath and waiting for Darby.
Yeah, and then like I don't know, I just didn't like a lot of the direction they've gone because it's like it went from like this storyline about like Moxley not being too happy with like
Yeah,
the current state of AEW, but like
yeah.
if you're gonna do a storyline like this, so much of it has to revolve around him, and yet it just feels like so much of the roster was like, well, we don't care, like everyone showed up to save Danielson, and after that, everyone's like, well, back to our own thing.
Back to our own thing. Don't worry, Jack. They got their own Dwayne the Rock Johnson where they can break the glass into a story and make it instantly better in the Young Bucks. When they showed up, I was like, now I'll tune in. Surely I'll tune in.
Yeah, and then when I saw that they did Mox versus Swerve, I was like, they're pivoting. They're recognizing that this thing's dead in the water because Darby
Yeah.
just went off and disappeared. They
Yep.
realized that the whole thing with Cope didn't really help well. They don't have any other plans of what they want to do. We're gonna pivot.
They wasted Christian Cage's
Cash in.
money in the bank.
Yeah, I was like, they're gonna pivot. And then they had the Young Bucks come in and cost Swerve, and I'm like, we're not pivoting. I don't know what we're doing here.
I hear whispers and rumors that at the biggest all-in show in Texas of all time, it's gonna be Swerve and Hangman teaming up to fight the Young Bucks.
Ugh.
Yeah, look at that face and that sound.
Ugh.
Can they coexist, Jack?
Terrible. Terrible. Give someone else the pen.
Goodness. I didn't see it because I've fallen off NXT, but I heard that in the main event of Sean Spears versus Ricky Saints, and then Ethan Page interfered. All three of them, right? Just in the same ring in the same story. I heard that the show closed with that little crowd chanting, "Tony fumbled." Clap, 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 clap. Tony fumbled.
It's so funny because my dad and I wanted to watch the women's NXT match and the men's NXT. And when I was looking at the card, I was like, Ricky's the North American champion? Like, how out of the loop am I? I didn't even know.
So I haven't watched Stand and Deliver. I want to, but as we talk about WrestleMania, Jack, because it's 12. It was 9 a.m. I haven't gotten to see it. It's my goal to watch it. before this week's NXT, but I wanted to just like when we talk about WrestleMania, I'm gonna bring up all the ways WWE spoiled that stupid show for me.
Yeah, I had to be
I was like,
careful.
surely they're not gonna bring up results for NXT in the WrestleMania card.
I had to
They
be
did.
careful with both nights of Mania because on Saturday I was working again 1:30 to 9. So like I missed the entire show. I had to come home and watch it, like the replay. And then
Yeah,
Mania had already started and was like a good while in when I finally got home from work on Sunday. And so I was
yeah,
having to do the same where it was like I was having to avoid any spoilers from like earlier in the show.
yeah. Me too. I was like a recovering alcoholic trying not to open Instagram just by muscle memory.
But let's get right into it, shall we, sir? WrestleMania 41. The number's back.
Fiend, 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 fiend. I anticipate doing that in between matches that we talk about.
Oh, man. We start off the night. Um, I don't know what we started off with. I can't remember. Someone came out, maybe? I don't know. But the match that started the show off was the World Heavyweight Championship, Jey Uso, Royal Rumble winner versus
I only
Gunther, the
bring
champ.
this up once. Triple H opened the show, and I don't know what's weird, but like Stephanie did it for night two, and she did it much better. I don't, like it's weird how awkward Triple H was. It was like he says for the first time, and I'm like, what do you mean for the first time? This is the 41st WrestleMania. I don't know. He saved himself, but like, my man, did you write anything down? You only got to say two things. Welcome to WrestleMania, and are you ready?
He was
But no,
all,
sir, we got Royal Rumble winner Jey Uso, main event. Cross that out. Oh, curtain jerker Jey Uso fighting World Heavyweight Champion Gunther.
what were your thoughts on this match, sir?
It was awkward, and yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah. It wasn't the hot opener it needed to be. I don't know why Jay is seemingly holding back. Was he hurt? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything about injuries, so no, I don't think so.
So, like, I don't know. It was just like, I don't know. Like, well, so, I mean, there was some elements of story that was he's borrowing or stealing moves from Gunther to be Gunther with his own moves. So, like, that was interesting. Him hitting, like, a power bomb on Gunther. Him, using Gunther's moves against him. That was okay. I know he had to come in doing something different because he's lost to the man 3 times.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I wasn't too interested in it. I'll be honest. Like, I know a lot of people are just gonna be like, "You're an Usos hater," but it's like I don't know. It just didn't interest me. Like
I'll tell you what, because you heard Triple H coming at us, the IWC, about our opinions. But I'll tell you what his opinion of Jay tells me. He never put these two in the main event of Raw leading up to this stupid show. Rhea and the ladies closed the show. The Intercontinental Championship closed the show. Cody closed the show. Roman, CM Punk. These guys were always in the beginning or the middle. Listen, I'll tell you what Triple H is telling me. I shouldn't care. And Jay comes out there saying he's going to pray to God for forgiveness for what he did. What did he do? What did he do, Jack? He didn't draw blood. This wasn't the violence of it. His brother almost died. I don't know. I don't think the action on Saturday matched the promos.
yeah, and I don't know. My biggest thing, and I get it. I'm not a wrestler. Like that's always an athlete, no matter what sport they play. That's their first defense is you've never played this sport. You're not an
Mm-hmm.
athlete, so you can't judge. But it's like it was what I was telling Ricky. I was like, the Usos have been in WWE since what, 2012, 13, 14, like one of those years, maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
Have Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso ever wrestled a match that is different than what they've wrestled their entire career in the WWE? Like there's a couple maybe that stand out, but like it's very formulaic, and I know you could say that about a lot of wrestlers, but to me it's always just like he's never changed much, and it's more noticeable and kind of upsetting when he's getting elevated to this main event scene, the main title scene, because it's something that's always discussed. Is like there's a difference in how you wrestle in the mid card versus the main title scene, you know, and not
Hmm.
only that, but like certain things you have to change. Like when Biggie became champion, the first thing you and I said is like, yeah, we're behind it. But the number one thing that you and I both said that first recording afterwards was he needs to change his finisher if he's gonna beat this world title guy. Like that finisher's not gonna cut it, you know. And that's just one
Yeah.
move out of a move set that
Yeah.
goes into it. So it's like to me, it's like I just can't buy into it when I don't know his matches, his move sets. I'm always just like this isn't in my like the way I view wrestling. It isn't main event worthy, you know. Main event worthy crowd investment, yes. You know he has a unique ability to get that crowd invested in him, but like you still got to do something when that bell rings, you know.
Goodness gracious. Yeah.
And I said it to
Yeah.
you. I said it to you before, but I'm bringing it up again because I mentioned it to Ricky when he was asking me about it. I was like, I remember telling this to Mr. Solis. We always have to hear about certain people not being able to reach this main event level because they
Hmm.
aren't good on the mic. Why is it not the same vice versa when someone's good on the mic
Oh.
but isn't good in the ring? And yet that same sort of disadvantage doesn't hold them back compared to the other guys, you know?
And like just like with in hindsight, because I thought about the match a lot after it happened. Like it's like trying to get a bad taste out of my mouth. What I think I needed to happen if like Jay wasn't gonna like level up, I needed Gunther to like beat the tattoos off his body. You know what I mean? Like if he had gone through like hell and back and won by by the hair on his chin, I'd have been like, that was hard fought for her. And you know what I mean? He really went through a trial of fire and brimstone, but he didn't, which makes me think like, I think he may have been hurt.
Yeah, and then another thing that really goes into Triple H's booking as a whole, it also doesn't feel as colossal as a victory when you take into consideration the way Gunther's been booked as a champion, you know?
Hmm.
Like what when he bloodied Jimmy and that visual of him with like the blood over him, not to say like he should be making his opponents bleed every match, but like that level of dominance is what we should have been seeing from Gunther
Hmm.
throughout his entire world title reign, and
Yeah.
everyone literally says it. His IC title reign compared to world title reign was two like two different shades of a color, you know, like completely different, even though they're supposed to be the same character, just handled completely different, and and everyone's confused as to like why, you know, like all you had to do was copy and paste his Intercontinental run, but on a higher level because it's the main event scene, but it never
Yeah.
felt like that, and so like, yeah, it's a big old victory because it's Gunther, but like compared to the way he was booked, it's not as colossal as a victory as like other baby faces in the past that have gotten the victory over him, you know?
And like it's funny because his character is so not maybe he is complacent, right? Like, he's holding the world heavyweight championship, and I think of Triple H because he's in charge. Remember when he was world champion? That guy was so obnoxious and all over the place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was unavoidable. Gunther was gone, and Gunther ain't fighting if nobody wants to. You know what I mean? Like, he isn't looking for a fight. He's gonna be backstage, you know, challenging the general from the insurance company. Like, I don't know. Just thinking about that first 2003, no beard, Triple H reign of terror, right? Same belt lineage. Like when Gunther's out there, like he's not at all bothered by people's lack of attention on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
And
needed him
honestly,
to be more assertive and like demanding.
yeah, I would have loved if his whole reign was going after complacent people, you know, because of how much he
Oh,
respects wrestling and the ring and views it as sacred. It's like imagine if he was going after people that like he just felt were being complacent, you know, or like imagine a segment where he's just walking through the locker room and he starts chopping random people just because they don't want to challenge him. You know, it's like your goal
and
shouldn't
and
be
and we
the
got
main
a
title.
and it was such a long build too that hurt it a lot. There was that bit of that when he beat up Akira Tozawa. I love that match. Jack, that if things don't change, that might be in the old top 10. I love that match so much, him versus Tozawa. But there are plenty of Tozawas on that stupid roster that he could have just mowed through. Just to remind me, man, everyone, I'm Gunther, dag nabbit.
Yeah.
This isn't fun. This isn't a game.
Yeah,
This is real.
and like it, like you could have done a lot of stuff, especially because it's like you could have done something where like after a match with Gunther, you see people kind of feel revitalized in the sense of like
Hmm.
even if they got beat badly, it's like they want to take it more seriously now. Like they've come to the realization that they have been complacent with their careers, which it could tie in real life elements because I mean, how many times do people say that about actual wrestlers under the WWE payroll that like they got their check and now they're complacent in their career?
So this will be interesting to weave in through our WrestleMania discussion, but the events of the Raw after Mania, Gunther loses. He bullies the commentators for commentating his loss. He's very insecure about the loss, so much so that he gets physical with Michael Cole and then chokes Pat McAfee to death. And I'm like, where's this Gunther been for the last 6 months? He literally looked better on last night than he has since SummerSlam. He was aggressive. He was the worst. He was a bully. He was strong. He almost killed Pat McAfee. I'm
Yeah.
like, he had that whole crowd tearing into him for being the blankety blank that he is, and I'm like, why wasn't this on Saturday?
Yeah.
Why didn't he come out Jay, the man challenging for his title, with the same aggression that he showed Pat? Gosh, bloody blankety blank McAfee.
Yeah. But that
Good
just
for
goes to
Jay.
show you. That just goes to show
He's
you.
the
We clearly enjoyed the match, right? Like,
he's the heavy yeet champion. I bet you wondered where they were going to put the yeet.
oh man.
And then
Well,
on
they.
Monday, Jeff, when they're celebrating, he never takes off his glasses, and I feel like he's forcing a smile. I feel like his new character is going to be one that just crashes out and has like a public meltdown. That guy doesn't look comfortable in the spotlight at all.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he was wearing the glasses because he was crying.
I think he is. I think his brother's like, yeah, yeah, Jay, and then Sammy's like, yeah, Jay, and Jay's like, yeah, me.
Oh man. But yeah. Congrats to Jay, but I wasn't too happy with, especially the
Nah,
ending.
nah.
But we move forward to our next match, which is also for titles. It is the World Tag Team Championships. The War Raiders defending their titles against the New Day.
Jack, there was no sign of the SmackDown Championships on WrestleMania's card. Do you know why this one made it on the card?
No.
I suspect it's because of the tie-in to the Clash of Clans game, because the War Raiders come out wearing the dumbest, weirdest get-ups that the commentary team explained tied to Clash of Clans.
Oh wow. Any thoughts on this one, sir?
You know what? I like this match a lot better than the first match because the story is a little easier to track and is grounded in, aggressiveness that I wanted to see Gunther have. But the New Day are coming at Eric's neck like nobody's business, right? His surgically repaired neck. They're coming at it from all angles, using that as their approach to beating the World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, and I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure to use this joke. And yes, I did steal it from someone on the internet, but who doesn't? I saw someone say it's the off season and the Raiders are still losing in Allegiant Stadium.
Yay! Pow, 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 pow.
I
The
thought
New
it
Day
busted.
win. Are champions again.
Yeah, interesting. I hope the payoff is Biggie coming back. I'm still holding out hope for Biggie to come
People
back.
were holding on Saturday. They thought Dave was going to come out and cost them, but they won. It was, like I said, I liked it a lot more than.
The opener. Yeah, Biggie still needs to get his get
I
back
didn't get
for
that. Could you try again?
what the heck?
Did you hear that, Jack?
Yeah,
Hmm.
that was weird.
How do I get rid of her? Okay, she's gone.
Okay. What's it called? Biggie still needs to get his get back for that promo that they cut on him on Raw.
Did you see the reference to him on the back of their jackets?
Oh no, I didn't see that. I didn't catch that. I need to pay
The
more
back
attention
of
to
their
the
ring
tattoos.
jackets had a three-headed unicorn, but one of the heads was dead and a skeleton.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like their new song. They escaped the Deaf Rebel curse.
Def Rebel. My goodness. I still. Oh my gosh, Def Rebel. You know, you stop hating on them throughout the rest of the year, and then the Rumble comes around, and then you're reminded why they're so hated. Because it's like you just hear so many of those themes on Spotlight, and you're just like, my goodness, are they terrible?
My goodness.
But fun little tag match, you know.
Yeah.
But we move forward to another match that has a lot of story behind it that built from our last episode, Elimination Chamber, Jade Cargill versus Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi was the attacker who jumped Jade Cargill in a parking lot, left her for dead on a windshield of a car, and was revealed to be the attacker at Elimination Chamber when Jade came back and did it for Naomi. I mean, it was, I think, a pretty good story. I like the character change for Naomi. What'd you think of the match?
I thought it was alright. I actually kind of liked a lot of it. Nothing like too awkward for me. You know, I thought it was a pretty good match. But I don't know. It felt kind of short for some reason to me. Like
I
how was going
agree.
by.
This was another one that you could have gotten more aggressive given the story behind it, but it was really kind of by the numbers. I wonder this, Jack. I felt like Naomi was doing a lot of the work. Like a lot of Jade's offense was actually just Naomi's skills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
And I wonder, I'm like, gosh, Jade's been in this company for a long time. Why are we still having these matches that like protect her? She's like Logan Paul in the sense that like if she's in there with somebody really good, you'll be convinced she had a good match. And I think, golly, Jack, she's not doing like matches every week or 2 matches a week or doing house shows and like how is she supposed to get better?
Yeah, and it may seem kind of cruel, but like at some point you got to get to that sink or swim mentality, because it's like I get it, she has a lot of star power to her, but it's like I don't know, you see like I don't know, like that's kind of also like a big issue like I sometimes notice in AEW where it's like they're open, like AEW allows for them to do independent work, and yet you don't see a lot of the talent like doing it, and it kind of goes back to the whole complacency thing. But it's like I don't know. There's some people on that roster that I remember people were like, they need to get more time. Like using those independents to get them. Like if you're not on TV, don't just be complacent because you're getting a check. Like continue to hone your craft.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the only thing about this match for me. I thought Naomi really held her hand through most of that match. And I think, golly, it's a long time for that still to be the case.
Yeah. I'm very interested in where they go with Jade after this. The obvious one seems Bianca, but like I feel like they want to hold off on that for like one of their bigger shows.
Are they even on the same show? Isn't Bianca Raw and Jade SmackDown? Who knows who's on SmackDown? Is there a draft coming up?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like they haven't said anything about a draft.
No, they haven't. Jack, is there a draft coming up? And also, is there a storm coming? That's a Jade joke.
Oh, man.
That was weird. At the end of all this, Jack, I'd love for you to like take a step back and tell me what your favorite entrance was, maybe what your favorite ring attire was. But hers was weird. This like random person giving a random weather report that didn't match her aura or style or vibe at all. He's just some weird dude who's just like, it's getting dark, and then they cut to her music. It was weird.
I wasn't paying attention, so when it happened, I was like, is this just a commercial happening?
It was very like weird insurance guys self-paid infomercial commercial kind of aesthetic.
Yeah, I was so.
Oh, and Naomi got Def Rebelled.
Oh yeah,
She's
that's
not
right.
Feel the Glow anymore. Now she's some sweaty hot garbage.
Yeah. I will say the one interesting fact that I think they might have noted on commentary. I forgot where I heard it, but this was the first first non-title singles match between two women at WrestleMania since WrestleMania 22. Which
It's funny. Hold on, don't tell me. So there was a non-title single female match at WrestleMania 22.
mhm.
Oh, who was it? Don't tell me. It was Victoria versus Jazz. Or no, Victoria versus Molly Holly. No, that was 21. Was it Victoria?
No,
Was it Tori Wilson?
she was one of them.
Okay. Versus 22. That's Stacy Keibler.
Mm-mm.
Kelly.
No,
Dang. Who was it?
Candice Michelle.
Candice Michelle. Huh. I wonder. Oh, for her dad.
I think so. Yeah, I think that was. The
Oh, my goodness.
That feels like such a deadlock storyline that I would hear like.
It was. And I think her dad was dead. I think he died at that point. Wow.
It just seems like such a thing I'd hear like on Deadlock them talking about.
Yeah.
Just earlier today I got one where they were talking about like it was like Ray and Conan running away from Kevin Nash, but Ray like trips over one of like the cable boxes, and then they get in like a lowrider pickup truck, but as they're driving off, they didn't coordinate backstage, so someone's driving in with a limo, so it blocks them in. And Kevin Nash is trying to get into a car, like he takes some guy out like GTA style to get in a car, but then he looks over and sees that the car is stalled because of the limo, so he just walks over and like Ray's trying to figure out what to do in the back of the pickup.
He's sitting in the back of the truck, right?
Yeah. And so like Deadlock the entire time was just laughing as they're recounting, so I'm like, this one just seems like a Deadlock storyline as well.
100%. They love Al Wilson. He's based.
Oh man. But that concludes
Jade.
that match.
Jade wins, gets her revenge.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess I should update us at this point because I pulled up the photo just to say make sure. So for the listeners, I have been trying my best to keep track of all our predictions. I think I missed Elimination Chamber, but I've been trying my best to keep track of all our predictions of the big shows. So
Yes.
At this current point, I've picked one correct out of the past three matches because I picked the Raiders and Gunther and Jade, so I only have one correct. My dad had one correct. Oh no, he had two. Oh no. Sorry, I was thinking of my dad's. My dad has one correct because he picked the Raiders, Gunther, and Jade. I picked Jade, the New Day, and Gunther, so I have two correct at this point. And Mr. Solis also has two correct at this point, picking the New Day, Jade, and Gunther. And
If I'm being 100% honest, when I sent you my picks, I said I wanted to change it to Naomi, and I was wrong. So I'm one correct. I circled Jade and then said, nah, but it would be better if the newly healed Naomi had a lot of fire behind her by beating this young up-and-comer. But who knew that young up-and-comer had all of like her residual AEW undefeated aura behind her.
oh man.
So it's 1-1 to 2.
And our next match is Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight for LA Knight's United States Championship. And let it be known there was a sweep in the predictions. We will get to the outcome as we talk about this match, but predictions was a sweep of everyone picking Jacob Fatu. And also let it be known that my dad's picks are who he thinks WWE is going to go. Or no, the other way around. He typically goes with who he wants versus who he thinks is going to win. But in this one, even though he likes LA Knight, he still felt Fatu was going to win anyways.
Yeah, when I picked Gunther, I was picking with my heart.
Yeah, I think all of us were because all three of us picked Gunther and we're like, in our hearts we want him to win, but we know that.
So Jacob's got like a cool tribal mask on his way out with Solo, who doesn't come down to the ring with him. He just stands at the entrance. And when he gets into the ring, Jack, he just stares at the camera. And I don't know, he stares for so long. and it occurs to me that it's not like the camera. I think it pans out, and I realize that the cameraman isn't standing in his face; that he's staring like like straight into eye to camera into the camera. That must be Jack. It must be like I don't know how far the stands are from the ring. I don't know how far that camera is, but he's just staring into it like he's staring into the camera's soul. It was amazing.
Yeah, I thought his entrance.
I don't think he
was gonna
blinked.
Yeah, and then LA Knight's entrance was kind of awkward to me, like with the Lamborghini. I think is what he pulled up in. Is that what he pulled up in? I can't remember.
Yeah, he pulled it in a car, in a fancy car, rolled down the window. He wasn't driving, he was being driven. It was weird.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. What do you think of the match, sir?
I think at this point I'm still holding the tag team match as being my favorite of the night so far. This one was serviceable. There's a couple of cool spots. I kind of wish Jacob had just squashed him, But LA Knight still got a lot of want to look strong in his defense.
Yeah, I think what made me enjoy this match a lot was just Jacob's moveset, because like he was doing stuff that I was like, this man has a 2K generated moveset.
Yeah,
you're a kid and you're just putting all the best moves on your character. I was like, that's what this man is, because when he had LA Knight on the ropes and then he did like that senton while he was still on the ropes, I was like, who thinks of this stuff? Like it kind of looks a bit awkward on rewatch because it doesn't get obvious, but like when you first see him do it, you're just like, this man does anything.
There was one move that stood out to me was the moonsault into the BFT from out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of his movesets, like I said, was just really getting me invested in the match, but pulls out the win.
Yeah, a couple of moonsaults.
Yeah.
A couple of excellently executed moonsaults.
Yeah. That man is going to be a major player for WWE. I can tell, And I found it, since they brought him in, I found it crazy that the reason why they've shied away from him before they brought him in, they're now so like openly discussing it. And of course I'm referencing his, criminal past. Like they bring it up so often. I'm just like, it's kind of funny to see it, because it was the one thing that kept them from like wanting to like bring him in. And now like they use a lot of it to like really kind of play into his character,
Yeah, he's a guy that like was homeless and, turned to wrestling to turn his life around. Haku was out there to congratulate him. I think he must be in such a bad way that he couldn't enter the ring. So he, greeted him and shook his hand from outside.
Yeah.
But like this, like acknowledgement that he's related to Haku. I forget how. He's not his son, is he?
I think
no, because
uncle.
Tongaloa, they're his sons.
Yeah, I think it's an uncle. I think.
Mm.
Let me see if I could search it up and see what's their relation to one another.
Like a spiritual uncle?
Yeah, nephew of Haku, yeah.
Like how Snoop Dogg's all our uncle? Like that kind of... But I agree, Jack. A true sign of the change in the guard. They always speak and show their, reveal themselves. Something that the old guard wouldn't have done.
True.
Actually, the old guard did do. Remember all that talk about Booker T's time in jail?
Oh, man.
Yeah. We've been here.
But all three of us get points with that one because we called that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I've been keeping track in a Google Doc because I want to look back on the internet because we're always giving our predictions, and so I'm just like, I want to see how accurate we've been, and like let's keep track of it. Next one was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, and it's another sweep in predictions because all of us picked El Grande Americano because we were like, well, we don't know who he's gonna face, but whoever they throw in there, he's probably gonna beat anyways.
Well, I picked him to beat Rey Mysterio just because Rey Mysterio is Teflon and he could take, a beating. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I might have gotten a little bit worried at the revelation that Rey Fenix making his WrestleMania debut. Um, hashtag Tony fumbled. What do you think, Jack? What do you think of the match? And what do you think of this El Grande Americano?
The match was pretty good. A lot of people weren't too happy with Ray like losing, but like I don't know. The whole Grande Americano thing is so bizarre to me because it's like I don't watch the weekly shows, so it just caught me like so off guard when I like was trying to catch up with Mania,
Yeah,
like to be like
yeah.
up to date, and I just saw so much of it. And I was just like, what is going on here? Like,
It Jack, for somebody who has been keeping up with the weekly show, it's crazy how much this is caught on. Um, Chad Gable, and I'm only bringing this up because I think the timeline aligns with El Grande Americano's debut. I'm not implying anything, but Chad Gable had it with these luchadors. He had lost to Ray, he had lost to Penta. He goes, or maybe it was like Dragon Lee. He's like, I'm gonna go to Mexico. I'm gonna become, I'm gonna learn the dark arts of lucha libre. Right? Goes to Mexico. Guy gives him a box. We never learn what's in the box. All I know is that after that vignette, this guy starts interrupting luchador matches and beating them up and being awesome. And then they had this little history vignette about him. He's this famous luchador from the Gulf of America. And he's just a great, cool guy with a legendary career. El Grande Americano. It's not at all a coffee drink. Of course, Ray Phoenix was going to lose because this guy loaded his mask with that metal plate. Michael Cole goes at, who did he say? He said El Santo used to do it all the time. Like, this is amazing. This is incredible. And his song, Jack, his song is an American song, but done with a mariachi band. It's like one of those 4th of July songs. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I heard it and I was like, oh my God, it's such an American song done with the mariachi band. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
And he goes, gracias.
oh man, freaking!
I loved it. This was my new favorite match of the night.
This is gonna be number 10.
Golly. No, you know what? I don't, good. It was good. It was real good.
Yeah. Funny enough that I bring that up. We're in April, and I don't know if I can say I've watched 10 matches this year.
Dang, I know. No, I was watching this weekend, and I thought of a match, and I go, "Oh, I haven't thought about this list in a long time." El Grande Americano hit a 450 reverse senton. Do you see that?
Yeah. I saw that one.
Like the commentators were so caught off guard by it that they were doing the math. They were watching the slow-mo replay, and they're like, "Wait, what do you think?" And he goes, 90, 180? I think it's about a 450. You just love math coming up,
Yeah. But that gives another point to all three of us. I don't know if you can count it since we were technically expecting him to face Rey Mysterio, but he beat A-Ray.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes us to our penultimate match of the night. Tiffany Stratton defending her championship against Charlotte Flair. And if you've been a long-time listener of this podcast, you know who every single person was picked in their predictions for this match. Because
It isn't exclusive to us in this podcast. The world let them know who we wanted to win.
All three of us, my dad, Mr. Solis, and I, we picked Tiffany because
I don't know what was in the water in Indianapolis when they all cheered Charlotte's return. But listen, I've had it. Tiffany Stratton, wave of the future. And how dare Charlotte, Jack? What kind of conversation must they have had when they said Tiffany's going to wear pink and she said, "No, I'm going to wear pink." Jack, we've seen this woman wrestle for like a decade. She's worn every color under the sun. How's she going to come out there wearing the same shade of pink? Golly, how petty.
Yeah, I didn't even like really pay much attention until you were bringing it up when we were talking pre-podcast, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even think of that. And then I wasn't even too interested in the match because I just don't like Charlotte. And when the match ended, I told my dad, I was like, is Charlotte making that boo boo face like she always does whenever she is like after a match? You know, like I don't want to spoil the ending too much, but like we know how she reacts after matches, and they always got to put the camera on her afterwards. So I literally wasn't even paying attention. I told my dad, I'm like, is she doing it? And he was like, yup.
And I don't know what happened, but Tiffany uh, got her teeth knocked out or something, like chipped.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, I saw it when she like celebrated. I'm like, I don't know how that happened, but I think it was a pretty hard hitting affair. Did you see the Stephanie Vaquer tweet?
Oh yeah, I saw
Because,
that one.
and like it has been pointed out, Charlotte Flair did that knees, head trapped in the knee, smashed against the ring move first. But Stephanie Vaquer goes, I don't know. I think there's a big difference between ours. And we're like, yes, I watch this stuff for the plot.
Oh man, but what are your thoughts on the match, sir?
I'm realizing this is the second to last match and taking stock of the whole night. I don't know if this blew me away like other Charlotte matches were. I'm on the defensive. She's shown me up. She said, Phil, listen, it's going to be your favorite match of the night. This one was not, right? But I'm grateful for the result. One thing that would have moved it up in my mind. I thought about it. I realized that Tiffany Stratton never hit her with the Alabama Slam. She hit it on the buckle. I didn't want her to hit it on the buckle. I want her to hit her. I want to throw her on the mat. I think that would have made a statement. I wonder, Jack, if you think anybody had a breakout performance, because there were a lot of potentials. There were a lot of people making their WrestleMania debuts, and I think a lot of people thought this was going to be her breakout match. I don't think this is one we replay. I don't think this is one that makes a showcase on WWE 2K30, you know?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way where it's just like, it wasn't enough, and I don't know if that's entirely on Tiffany's part, you know?
Yeah.
But
Take the Alabama Slam. Make her famous.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're just, fishing at the same old well when we talk about Charlotte because it's like nothing changes. I was getting on Jey Uso. Nothing has changed since Charlotte's time in the WWE.
It's only gotten worse. You know what I mean? Like,
And also, the biggest issue, we're talking about Jade and Naomi being non-title singles match at WrestleMania. She refuses to be outside of that title picture. Always has to be in the title picture.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, it's like, what is her character at this point? You know, like it's just the same old thing. There's no character development. There's never any change. Even when she's face or heel, it doesn't matter. It's the same old character.
It's so funny how much she is rattled by the audience at this stage of her career. You know what I mean? Like, it really, I think, upsets her.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever have I don't know if you've seen those like memes where it's like you gotta say something nice about them. I don't know if I'll ever have anything nice to say about Charlotte the character.
Golly. Yeah, like, I don't know. Goodness. I just don't know. So far, El Grande Americano is my favorite match of the night. That tells you something about night one. that Super Monday Night Raw match is my favorite of WrestleMania night one.
I do think Tiffany's entrance is probably my favorite out of the entire night, though.
She's in a Barbie box. She's next to other versions of herself. That was clever. That was artistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, sir, let's get to the match that with its entrances combined is probably as long as this podcast is right now.
Your favorite match, the one you were waiting for the most, with your CM Punk shirt, your CM Punk hat, your wraps around your hands, and your plushy CM Punk.
Listen, I was going to wear my CM Punk shirt for this recording, but that Arizona heat is no joke.
Dang.
Oh, man. But yes. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk triple threat in the main event. And let it be known that when my dad and I were doing predictions, even though all three of us, well, actually, no, you picked Rollins, my dad and I both picked Punk. But I let it be known, I told my dad during the predictions, I could see something going down with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman in this match.
Absolutely. And, Roman comes out by himself. That was something interesting. He comes out second. That was interesting. And Punk comes out last with Paul Heyman, with In Living Color, with a video package showing that he also hasn't changed as a character since he was in his 20s. They had him side by side with themselves saying the same things with just a deeper, older voice. I think some people might call that poor character development. I call it conviction and consistency. And I think I've heard people in places complain that the story hasn't made any sense and why is it the main event? The video package affirmed that the story of this match was this man getting his main event. There might be some custody battle with Paul Heyman, but at the end of it all, what we ultimately are all here for is to celebrate this guy's main event. He got that big entrance. And what did you think of the match?
Well, you want to know what's funny is Ricky and I were talking about our own predictions ahead of the show.
Yeah.
And when I told him I was picking CM Punk, he was like, no, man, he has to lose. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he has to lose because if he wins, what's his character going to be? He got his Mania main event and he won it. What's he going to complain about now?
That's hilarious. That's so funny. The events of this match ensure that he always has something to be bitter about.
Oh, man. But this match was pretty crazy with a lot of crazy spots in it. But
yeah.
I mean, that's what's to be expected with a triple threat,
Yeah, with these guys especially. I think Michael Cole is hilarious. He's super self-aware, but Seth is trying to form an allegiance with Reigns, and he wants to power bomb him through the table. And Michael Cole's like, he wants to do a shield bomb.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. What was the spot that? Oh, when Roman jumped into the crowd when Punk and Rollins were there, like
yeah,
that was crazy.
That was really crazy. Reigns went for a spear that Seth turned into a pedigree. And we've seen him do that before, but this time it was cleaner. This time they just jumped into it a lot more convincingly. That was really good.
There was a Rollins putting Punk in the sharpshooter.
Yeah, a horrible looking sharpshooter. Yeah.
I'm surprised Punk hasn't pitched a Montreal screw job of his own because of how much he likes Bret Hart. I'm surprised he hasn't pitched something like that.
Goodness.
But yeah, there was a lot of chaos. I think there was even a spot with the table, right?
A spot with the table. Trying to think.
I just can't.
It doesn't spring to mind. This is a match. For as hard hitting as it was, it's definitely super story driven. Where we're really waiting for the end. It's like Chekhov's Heyman.
Oh, like most Bloodline matches are involving Bloodline members. You're just waiting for the ending.
Get over it, Jack. Jacob's the new U.S. champion. Jay's the new World Heavyweight champion. It's done. The story's done. Sammy's retired. I don't know. I saw a picture of everybody from the original Bloodline being so far removed from one another. They're like, this is truly the end of a 5-year story. But yes, Jack. Yes, it is definitely. We're waiting for a shoe to drop.
Yeah. But we see Roman being very cold towards Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
But so you see Paul, he has a steel chair, and he gives it to CM Punk, wants him to use it on Roman. and then he low blows CM Punk. And
Dang.
there was something I didn't notice until my dad brought it up. When he low blows CM Punk, he has like a look of like, you know, like eagerness to it, you know, because then like afterwards Roman is able to capitalize, you know, and like he looks like, you know, very happy with his decision to low blow Punk, and that leads to our next spot where he hands the chair to Roman, and you see Rollins on the ropes, very, you know, reminiscent of the Shield breakup, and he's telling
It's
Roman
the
to
Shield chair.
the Shield chair. And he's telling Roman to do it. And of course, Roman, not learning from his past, you want to talk about character development. This man continues to turn his back to people, even though every single bad thing that's happened to him has been turning his back to people. Paul Heyman low blows Roman Reigns. Oh, wait, no, I think it was reversed. I think with Punk, he had like a look of regret, my dad said.
Yes.
And then with Roman, it was that look of like, you know, like he had no regret at all. Like he was 100% in on that decision.
Yeah. I saw somebody put it out there that Roman was always the target and Punk was collateral damage.
Yeah, that's what my dad said too.
Yeah.
And that leads to Seth Rollins aligning himself with Paul Heyman.
And pinning Roman Reigns. Win 1, 2, 3. Didn't pin Punk. He pinned Roman after a stomp.
Yeah. Impressive stuff. But I was surprised that there wasn't more like post-match stuff, and it's the same thing I can say about night 2.
100%. You know, yeah, there's you're left wondering. We got more answers on Monday Night Raw. How frustrating was it, Jack, when they cut to the ring and CM Punk is smiling ear to ear like he's Dean Ambrose having Jake the Snake on top of him? Like, I hope the referee was like, I hope Triple H was like, tell him to sell Dag Nabbit. He's all happy for having that main event and it being over. He's talking to the referee, like, act like you just got stabbed in the back and hit below the belt, you big dummy.
But that closes night 1. My dad finished with 1, 2, 3, 4 points.
I finished with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, yeah, because you switched to Naomi.
Yeah.
And then I finished with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well.
My night 2, Jack, is awful.
I think my night 2 was also pretty bad. Let me see. 1, 2. Yeah, mine was pretty bad.
Yeah. But what was your match of the night for night 1? Mine was El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix, not ironically. I loved it. I would watch that again on repeat. It was so good.
I'd probably give it to LA Knight Fought 2.
That's surprising.
Which is very telling of night 1's quality.
100%, Jack. I saw somebody, just to telegraph the next half of this podcast, Jack, I saw somebody said night 1 was a mid-card with a great main event, and night 2 was a great card with a mid-main event. Golly, if you switch them main events, 60,000 people are asking for a refund.
No lie. But let's get into it. Night 2, is it a lot better?
Bing, 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 bing.
Oh, man. I was at work.
Yeah.
Don't tell my job.
Yeah.
I was in an area where there wasn't a lot of customers. And, and you're kind of free to have, like, you know, like, let's say if you're working an office job, have a phone off in the distance, like listening to something. That was me with the opening match because I was like, I'm not missing this.
Jack, this opening match, it's for the World Women's Championship. It's Io Sky defending against Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley in a triple threat. Jack, this one match was better than anything on night 1.
Yeah. I knew it going into this night. I was like, this is going to be my favorite match. This is going to be top 10 contender, you know?
This hit all the gears, Jack. This was like all the false finishes, all the big moves, all 3 competitors showing up to show out, to show off.
3 of the best women under the WWE brand right now, at least main roster wise, you know.
Mm-hmm.
the biggest names, you know, and I love that they weren't shying away from the fact that like Io is being like cast aside when she is arguably. It's so tough for me, honestly. Like I mentioned it in my year end video like of last year that like
Yeah.
Bianca and Io are the two that I always go back and forth on who I think is the best women under the WWE brand. You know, like they're so equal to me. You know, even despite Bianca's kind of terrible booking under Triple H, like I
Mm.
still think, especially when you take into account her ability as a wrestler, like she's always gonna be up there. You know.
I wasn't as frustrated with her booking or her character as much as I was Rhea.
Mm.
Bianca won the Elimination Chamber. Like, I thought she like dropped the my two friends are trying to kill each other. Like really fast.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, so we're just over that, huh? Like, she's just letting them handle their own business. But Rhea's like I don't think they needed to go the she's a whiny brat route to get her into this match.
Yeah. I was also surprised that Bianca was getting booed in this one.
Yeah.
It
What's that
really
really
caught.
all about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really caught me by surprise. Um, but yeah, this match so good, so good. It was so good. I rewatched it today while I was building
Wow.
because I was building something for my mom and dad, and so I was like, I'm gonna watch this. I wanted to watch night two as a whole again, but I was rewatching this match specifically. I was like, this match is so good.
Nice.
Yeah. Any spots that stood out to you, sir?
Let me think. There was a sequence. That's the kind of match this one was. It's not a spot as much as it is a series of spots. It's I think the Avalanche Riptide attempt
Mm.
into like an arm drag into the waiting arms of Bianca Belair. It was wild. It was so wild. It was so fluid.
Yeah, they were amazing. I was super excited for this triple because I'm like, three of the best. You know, like this is gonna be good. You know,
Yep.
and the best part about it, like you said, was the fluidity, was the chemistry between all three. Like nothing felt off for a single second to me. I was like, this is
And
just
it didn't
amazing.
slow down. It was
Yeah,
really, yeah, really
this
good.
this was the hot start to a mania that you always expect. You know,
100%.
and EO retained.
1 point for old Mr. Solis.
1 point for me as well, and my dad as well. And it was funny because when I gave this prediction, old Ricky was like, "You really think they're gonna give it to EO? You know, like this is WWE's two golden childs in Rhea and Bianca." And so once I got to watch it, the first thing I did, because I think I went on break right after, I went
Yeah.
outside to get internet, and I went and immediately went to Ricky, and I was like, I put in quotes to like show it was him saying it, like going like, "You really think EO's gonna retain?" I was like, "Never doubt her again."
Dang. Good dang. Um, Raw after Mania. She's interrupted by Stephanie McCourt. Golly, Jack. Golly. I thought we were building to this. Adam Pierce goes, we're gonna do it right now. And Jack, I had to stop my like ever rising beating heart. I'm like, they're gonna get interrupted. Somebody's gonna come ruin this. I'll enjoy it for as long as I can. And they went longer than I thought they would. Sure enough, they got interrupted. I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah,
Can
and
never have nice things.
when my dad was telling me about it, because I was working night shift, so I got home and he was telling me like that Raw was crazy, and it was funny. Yesterday I was at work, my phone kept blowing up because I forgot to put do not disturb on, and I was like, what is going on? And every time I checked, it was Ricky Mesme like, dude, this is the craziest Raw of all time. You gotta quit your job.
That's so funny.
He's like, you're
Jack,
missing the craziest Raw. He's like, this got to be the best Raw after Mania ever. Like, this is going crazy.
every match and segment had something going on. It was like nonstop.
Yeah, and so when I went to watch, I was like, I don't know where it was like everyone showed up. Roxanne showed up. Julia showed up. I was like,
Evil Julia.
yeah, I was like, everything's going on the night I missed it. This is like those times you'd miss school and everything decided to happen on that day.
There was a fire drill and somebody died and the class hamster escaped and yeah.
LeBron James showed up and handed everyone $100.
Wow. Wow. I still don't think he's a goat.
I bet all the people on night one wish WWE would go hand them $100 back after seeing this match open compared to what opened night one.
With those people at night one are still trying to get to their hotel room.
Oh man, but amazing opener to this show. But we move on. But each of us got 1 point off of that one, and
Damn.
the next one,
It's gonna be my only point for the rest of the night.
the opening match, or sorry, the next match, Sin City Street Fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre wearing some getup that has to do with Doom, a video game, and he doesn't look very happy to be wearing it.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I was like, this seems like the wrong person to do this with, considering like Drew's whole thing is like old school, like fighting, like swords,
Yeah.
and
You know,
Scottish.
cynical heel that tells the truth. Where's the lie? He would very quickly say this is dumb. And Damian Priest, I mean, to my surprise, gets played out by Slayer's Kerry King.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Dude,
And you had like Michael
heavy
Cole.
metal royalty.
You had Michael Cole talking about like that it reunited the group or something. Like he was saying like they were reuniting, and I forgot like what Michael Cole was saying on commentary, but something about like Slayer getting back together, and I was like kind of confused. Apparently they're doing
I know Kerry King's solo nowadays. But what was it? I don't know who I was telling this to, but Kerry King is like the Bill Goldberg of metal. In the sense that, you know, bald and a proficiency for, I mean, they like the sunglasses, but also they like to think that they have a higher opinion of themselves than anyone else, and you know, their style is limited. As my brother would attest, if you've heard one Slayer song, you've heard them all.
Oh man. We had Drew tweeting during the match.
Yep. Still bored at work. Ha 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 ha.
And then
This was a hard hitting affair. This one had some table spots.
yeah, I was gonna say it had a lot of tables to it.
Yeah.
Can I just say I'm surprised Damian Priest at his age is still taking as many back bumps as he does, because he takes a back bump through 2 tables. And I'm just like, man, this man, I think about, like, so many of his matches, especially when it comes to, like, the more extreme matches. I'm like, this guy's always taking bumps on his back. I'm surprised he's still doing it at his age.
I think this match, what's the word? Exceeded expectations for me. Because I didn't, you know, really get into the story. I think the story was that a lot of Drew's recent shortcomings in the last like year, Damian Priest has had something to do with it, be it his cash in or his role at Clash at the Castle, Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Like, it was an interesting start.
Yeah.
But I think, like, I wish this match had like a reward, like #1 contendership. That would have been nice to like be fighting for. Otherwise, you know, in my head, this is one of those matches where in my head canon, they're 2 big guys just trying to come out of WrestleMania on top. You know what I mean? Like, they're both sort of the same build, same part of the card. It's trying to, you know, make a case for the title. Unofficially.
Yeah, I definitely think it would have helped to have that sort of. See, but then again, I don't know if they want to run back like Drew and Jay or Jay and Damian, you know. I do know, like, after Drew won his match, I told my dad, can you just go take that belt off of Jay?
You know, anyone. Like, really, anyone. I don't want to keep harping on Jay, but why is he on the same blanking show as as the WWE champion? Like, there's two shows for a purpose. There's two championships for a purpose. Why are they on the same show?
Yeah, and also not only that, but like what I was telling my dad was like, Drew's whole thing isn't he still trying to get back at the bloodline for all that they caused? So it's like, what better way than to go after the main perpetrator?
My goodness, I don't think he finished that work. But I liked Damian Priest's calling him out on this stuff. That's like good heel stuff. Like, hey, you keep blaming others,
Yeah.
Hold him accountable. And I liked Damian's line in the promo package where he goes, you keep trying to victimize yourself. So guess what? You're going to be my victim. I'm like, yes. Bars.
Oh, man. But Drew pulls out the win on this one.
With a claymore into a steel chair that was nestled into the turnbuckles of the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal.
And unfortunately, none of us get a point for this one.
I picked Damian.
I wanted to pick Drew, but I was like, I just feel like they don't give him a lot of the big wins. So I was actually surprised.
This was a very big win for him.
Yeah, so very happy as a Drew McIntyre fan.
Yeah.
But that moves us on to our next match, and that is the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship.
This is the match, Jack, that you come in looking forward to the most. I'm like, everyone involved, even Braun Breaker. I'm like, this is going to be good. There's a lot to look forward to and a lot of things they can do, and I'm going for my man Finn.
Yeah. My dad also picked Finn. I picked Penta. I think Ricky also picked Finn. And I was a bit caught off guard by all the Finn picks because I'm like, this man's done nothing but lose, I feel, for like the last year and a half, maybe even more.
Yeah. I needed him to like have clout and reasons to be obnoxious to the Judgment Day,
But,
little did I know that he could be just as obnoxious with nothing. But did you see the video, Jack, of the guy who makes Penta's gear?
No, I didn't see that one.
There's this video of this guy who makes Penta's gear, and he's watching WrestleMania and sees Penta come out in the gear that he designed. And this guy who designs wrestling gear has one of his works coming out at WrestleMania. And he's crying. He's a big guy. And, it's a sweet video that I think his daughter took of him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Any spots that stood out to you, sir? I know to my family, they similar to my reactions to Jacob Fatu, they had similar to Braun Breaker, just doing all the craziness in this match.
Yeah. It's all a blur. The finish is what sticks out the most. And certainly your Braun Breaker spot I'll let you describe. But no, I mean, this is like the women's match, the opening match, just like everything, everywhere, all at once. And it's, I think the story, the story that runs through the matches, Finn and Dominic working together for a while, seemingly on the same page for most of the match.
I did like the one where Dominic tried to do the 619 and then Balor as they put it, stomped a hole in him.
Yeah. I like that. I liked, and it was an early part of the match that people showed their support for Dom. They were like, yeah, go get him. He was behind them. He was, sizing him up. Mm-hmm.
And then Carlito decides to interfere. And I didn't understand what he was doing on the table because I know he was looking to do a move, but it also looked like he was just goofing around a bit. I was like, what is he doing on the table? And then he turns around and it's awkward because I guess Braun didn't get his footing yet.
Right.
He kind of just stands there and looks at him and kind of waits for him to come at him. But Braun jumps from one table to the other, spears him through it. Although, I don't know, it didn't, land with as much not necessarily the impact, but, when he goes to spear him, it didn't look as strong, But the impact sure does go strong.
I mean, I'm sure the impact would have been greater if the table had kept its shape, but I'm sure it was already beginning to fall underneath the both of them.
Yeah.
when he moved to that table. The tables, it's weird, Jack. They want to keep doing table spots, but they've upgraded and redesigned the tables. Like
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, how are you gonna do
they've
a
made
table
it
spot?
really impractical. I think he busted things that like are gonna be hard to repair and replace. This isn't modular like it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be a straight up table. Like the iteration of the table before this and Netflix generation was like one that you could kind of see get put in pieces, you know?
Yeah.
I was honestly like, they're not going to rebuild that tonight. These guys are going to just be sitting twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah, I think like they did a shot afterwards, like when they come back for commercial and they're like all standing. And you're like, look at the mess.
Yeah. Any other spots that you can recall?
Not any off the top of my head, but I thought it was a good showcase for everyone involved.
Yeah, even, but you know what? Like I was telling your brother, like I hate Braun Breaker. This didn't endear me to him. Not even his I broke a table with Carlito's spear, Like, because he keeps doing this. I am staring menacingly at the hard cam. Like he's trying to be Jacob Fatu, but like you're not Jacob Fatu. You're not Scott Steiner. You're not nobody. You're weird and you don't know how to spell breaker. Like, yeah, and then like your brother was pointing out, he's like about to cry. He's gonna hit this guy with his spear real hard, and it's he's weird and stop being weird. And I'm glad he lost.
Um, there was some. Oh, I think it's also going to be hard for him to like top that one spear he did to Carlito on Raw. Like I don't know, it's going to be tough for like when he does the spear after like that, like because that one like he just comes flying in and almost basically does like a front flip.
I'll tell you what, Jack. I don't think it would be very hard for him to top that spear. I want him to hit a spear well. Like, as hard hitting, as much as that hurt Carlito, that recent flip spear, right?
Mm-hmm.
That even the slow-mo replay shows that he hits him like square in the blankety chest, Jack. He jumps into it, but buries his shoulder into Carlito's like neck. Here's a thought. How about you just aim for the midsection? Okay, thanks. Golly. Goldberg's turning into Bret Hart. You don't even know it. He's like, not as good as my spear.
And that's another match that none of us walk away with a point in.
Dang. Hey, so Finn hits a coup de grace on Breaker. Looks like he's going to get a point for us all. But who's that flying out the sky? R-E-Y, Mysterio, Dominic. Frog splash onto Finn. Pins Finn. Las Vegas erupts. They're down with Dirty Dom. Gets a big old W.
Yeah. New champion.
Dang.
Both men's titles change hands.
Who knew?
Yeah. And then this is a match that wasn't on the predictions list because no one knew if he was going to have a match until they announced that he was going to do an open challenge. It's Randy Orton. Kevin
Fighting
Owens.
in 20th WrestleMania, dressed as debut 2003 Randy Orton with that dark blue trunks with the light yellow highlights.
Yeah.
Did you have a guess, Jack, at who his opponent was going to be?
No, because I didn't know he was going to be having a match.
I heard that, he was going to have an open challenge. I thought it could have been Nick Aldis.
That's why I saw some people wanting.
That would have been awesome. Because, I think Nick Aldis fights a very boring NWA style match. And, if you don't promote it and don't promise anything, it over delivers. And, Randy Orton is, we're going to play it safe, brother. You know what I mean? I think it would have been really cool.
If they had announced that and they had given it time, I can only imagine how slow paced that match would have been.
It would have been great. Did you know, Jack, that Jeff Cobb is signed with the WWE?
I heard that as well. My dad was telling me about that.
People wondered if Jeff Cobb was going to show up here as well as like, um, so long as there's an opening and you need a dance partner and let's make a star. Well, guess what they did, Jack? They made themselves a star.
Yeah. And there was a lot of different people. Like, I think even like a lot of the commentary was like trying to play into that. Like, who's it gonna be? There was someone who showed up on Raw that could have been this pick,
Yeah, sure could have.
especially given their history together.
You know,
But it is TNA World Champion Joe Hendry.
say his name and he appears even though Randy never said his name. He got a good pop. People know who he is. They were down with his song and his dance and his everything.
And it's funny because on one of the images for like covering this match, you see a fan with a sign that says "I believe in Joe Hendry." Even if you would have given it away, I feel like they could have shown that person with that sign at some point, just so that it fulfills the say his name part.
If I hold the sign, I summoned him.
Yeah, but yeah, Joe Hendry shows up. Pretty short match, only a couple minutes long, but he does
He
what he
gets a
needs
couple of
to.
moves in. He's able to dodge an RKO. I don't know his moves names, but I think he's got a Uranagi or a choke slam, and he's got a fall away slam, and he does his spit jack. It's a little bit like the Okada um, pan out shot, the Okada um, camera shot, which was also like the best friend's hug shot, right?
Yeah,
Or like zoom in on his face because he does his. It's a little bit like Zoolander's Blue Steel.
yeah.
You familiar with that movie and joke reference?
Yeah, I know what you're referencing.
Yeah, Joe Hendry's Zoolander Blue Steel. Camera zoomed in on his face, soaking it in, getting his WrestleMania RKO out of nowhere.
And then you have Randy giving him his props, and then he RKO's him again.
RKO'd him again and did the old Blue Steel moment.
Yeah, I
That
thought.
was good. That was real good. I am in my winter years having just the greatest time, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You like to see that guy smile.
Yeah, it's always funny when I see people before, like in the late 2010s, when people would like talk about like all the different times where Randy Orton just didn't give a damn. And
Yeah.
some of his best moments, and now it's like that. We're at that point in his career where that's almost every match of his now, where he's gonna have a moment in there where he's just having fun.
Yeah.
After that, though, we get our little bathroom break.
Oh my.
We got AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. And it's another match. I don't want to spoil, but it's another match where none of us get a point because we all went with who we wanted to win, not who we thought was going to win.
Dang.
Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Sir, what were your thoughts on this one?
I think I think we all knew it was going to be a serviceable match. He's with the absolute rock star of AJ. I liken this to the Jade Naomi match where, people are going to hit their beats and Tella I was going to say compelling. I wouldn't say it was compelling. I don't know if this match ever compelled me. Maybe towards the end, like, what do you think?
It was all right. Like, nothing
It was all right.
crazy about it, The only thing that I was just so confused on, that even like my brother was saying, was like, why is AJ Styles facing Logan Paul? Like, it felt like there wasn't a lot to it, other than like I think the Rumble stuff, or was it Elimination Chamber? I don't even remember what it was that led to this, but it was just like, why,
So interesting you should say that, because like the Punk match, there's a few matches where we're really waiting for something to happen. And out of nowhere, well, we got, like, I guess Logan Paul's buddy about to hand him his knuckles because that's something that happens. But he gets stopped. Not by AJ Styles, but by Karrion Kross, who's for some reason trying... Like, it's interesting, Jack. On Monday after Raw, Karrion Kross sounded more convincing in his motivation than he's had for months. I have no idea what he's trying to do. I have no idea what he's trying to get at. But on Monday after this match, I don't know, he sounded so clear. But ultimately, he wants to stop this guy from giving the knuckles to Logan Paul. And instead, he wants to give the knuckles to AJ Styles. He says, AJ, knock him out with these. Go evil ways. Turn to the dark side. And AJ won't have it. He's going to win on his own terms, his way.
And then he gets hit with the right hand and Paul's move
Damn.
for the win.
The pulverizer. Damn.
No points for any of us.
Ron Simmons. Damn.
And
So yeah, like, so Cross on Monday goes to AJ going, you were the best of us and you couldn't beat him. I don't know. I didn't hear any of that leading up to it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hey, have Gunther murder Logan Paul for... Actually, no. Forget it. He can save Logan Paul for last. Have Gunther go after every wrestler who's lost to Logan Paul for being a disgrace to the mat. Losing to an outsider.
That would be like Drew levels of like hate and bitterness. You know, and like somebody just like remember when Jay was ducking the Uncle Howdy? Remember he was like, I don't want to like so like some like who's lost to Logan Paul?
I think LA Knight has.
So like LA Knight would be like, is Gunther in the building? I gotta go.
And that would be so in character. That would be something LA Knight would do.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't even make him look like a scaredy cat. It would just be like, he's a smart man. He knows.
And then Logan Paul beat somebody new, and that guy like wakes up and he's standing in the middle of the ring. And he goes, "Oh no!" Like he's a marked man.
Yeah. Oh man.
Jack, we should be on the writing team, and we'd be featured characters in WWE's new Netflix show called Unscripted, coming this summer. We can be doing these pitches to real professionals about the world of WWE.
Yeah, and then Triple H would tell us, oh, but that doesn't involve a story being dragged out for longer than it should be, so we're not going with that.
My buddy at work asked me if I was going to watch that show, and I went, no, because I bet they're just going to spin doctor and claim that anything good that happened was always the plan when it was not the plan.
Yeah.
They're going to Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 30 us. And this is when we came up with this. You're like, okay, Chico.
Oh, man. But moving on to our next match. Yet another one that none of us walk out with points in. So funny that night 2 was the better night, and like so much of us just didn't get it right.
I agree. Like the AJ Logan match, like if it was like one person doing all the work, that was the better version of that match than Naomi. The triple threat was better than the triple threat. The Intercontinental Champion was like better than the US Champion. Like, yeah, nah. Night 2, Jack. If I'm watching night 2 and I was at night 1, I want my money back.
Well, we move on to our next match, which was supposed to be Liv and Raquel defending against Lyra and Bayley, but Bayley's taken out at the last second.
Yeah, during the pre-show.
Yeah, she's taken out, so everyone's like, oh, well, who's going to be Lyra's partner?
Lyra with these goofy wings in her ring attire that cover her whole arms.
Yeah, but who comes out to be her partner?
Golly, Jack. It's the partner of all partners. It's only the gosh darn man, Becky Lynch, who just told somebody she's happy being retired. Jack, don't ever ask these people when they're coming back because they're going to lie to your face. She comes back, Jack. Golly.
Yeah.
The Irish Lasses are coming for the tag team titles.
Yeah.
And we're reminded that Liv herself was the one that put Becky away. She was bragging about it. She retired the man.
Yeah. Can I say an underrated note from commentary that I enjoyed about this match?
What's up? What'd they say?
So commentary, I think it was Michael Cole brings it up that like, or no, it might have been Wade Barrett, whoever the like heel commentator was. I think it was Barrett. They bring up that Becky and Lyra are thrown together team, and commentary goes on to note, well, her original partner Bailey and Lyra were thrown together, and they went through the gauntlet to get this title match. And he was still saying that, well, they're a thrown together team. They aren't doing too well, and that's when commentary again tries to push back at Barrett, saying, well, what about Liv? She has the most title reigns in the women's tag division, I believe is what they said, with I think it was like 4, all with different partners. And then Barrett uses that to spin and say that she's a tag team specialist who's able to adapt with any partner and win gold with them.
Wow.
Yeah, like he put like a real good spin on it, saying that like, well, yeah, she always gets partnered up with random people, but she works so well with them that they always end up winning gold together.
It's hard to tell if like somebody's feeding Wade those lines or if Wade's just that good. But he actually had like, to quote Sheamus, banger after banger after banger, like commentary lines. Like when you talk about all of the people that had WrestleMania debuts, his was one of the strongest of everybody's, because he would say things. He was the one doing the math for the 450 reverse senton, and like he would just say things. I'm like, I'm glad that was said out loud,
Yeah.
I'm glad that was added.
He even corrected Cole in the women's triple threat because he called Bianca's was it a 450?
He called it a
Because Michael Cole called it a shooting star press, and then Wade Barrett corrected him on it.
And I even think he was like, I know we are all heated and excited. We're all heated and excited, but that was actually a 450 splash.
Yeah. So
I got some bad news, Michael. You were wrong.
But yeah, that was something I enjoyed from the commentary on this match, which kind of goes to show what I think about the match. If the one note I have about it is the commentary team.
Did you see the meme to cut to the end, Jack? Did you see the meme where they said Becky may have beat Liv and gotten her revenge, but she sure ain't gonna beat those allegations?
Oh man, what's it called? Funny enough, I was telling my dad when we were watching this match, I was like, so who do you have take the pin? Like, let's say because you know how all of us picked them to retain. I was like,
yeah,
who do you have take the pin? The newly returning Becky Lynch or your Women's Intercontinental Championship? And then Becky wins, and my dad goes, well, I guess that answers that question.
Hey, what if that wasn't a problem at all?
Oh, and then another good line from Wade Barrett, continuing to show his bangers. They accuse Liv and Raquel of, sidelining Bailey, and he goes, let's remember that everyone accused them of doing the same with Jade Cargill, and they were proven innocent.
Yeah, that was an amazing line.
But yeah, Becky and Lyra win. Lyra 2 belts is what they said.
Hate it. Hate it, but if we reference
used to mean something. Now you got people like Lyra Valkyrie, Mercedes Moné with all her belts.
Yeah.
Stephanie was 2 belts, but then just gave up one of them.
She did. That's why she's awesome. She's like, this is dumb and frustrating. But what I was gonna say, if we can fast forward to Monday Raw after Mania, there's a rematch for the tag team titles. The Judgment Days, Liv Morgan and Raquel win them back in a very good match. Like in a very hard fought for competitive match. Jack, I think it happened in WrestleMania 40 as well. No match night one got a This Is Awesome chant. I don't think even the main event got a This Is Awesome chant. That first triple threat got a This Is Awesome chant. That tag team match on Raw got a This Is Awesome chant. The heels get it. Becky and Lyra, they're defeated. They're going to hug. It's okay, Lottie. That's the way it goes. But no, that's not how it goes. Boom. She beats up Lyra Valkyria. Starts kicking, berating her. First, she was just yelling at her. I was like, Lyra's just like cowering. I'm like, this is a little awkward. Like, she's just yelling. Then she goes back to punch Then she goes back to hit her manhandle slams. But I bring that all up to say that the fans never stop cheering for Becky because they don't like Lyra that much. They don't like her enough for this to have worked the way I think they wanted it to work.
Yeah, and then
She beat up Lyra Valkyria, and everyone's like, "Who cares?
the Peter Griffin meme.
Who the heck cares?"
Oh man, but it's funny that you mentioned about the whole "this is awesome" because like when Drew and Priest got it, they like commentary noted like this is the second match in a row to get a "this is awesome" chant.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what didn't get a "this is awesome" chant? Our main event of night 2.
Jack, this is it. We made it to the main event. I fell asleep. You're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting here. You're going to have to, Naomi, walk me through this one, brother.
I saw a meme that I so badly wanted to send you, and I wasn't able to because of not having internet at work. But it was something like, to everyone who didn't get to see Prime Super Cena, and you're saying that match was boring, now you know what we went through. And I was like, all I could think about was you.
That's hilarious. I actually want to watch it again now that you bring that up. That Super Cena at his worst, reborn.
But you asked me to help you walk through it. Do you want me to sum up this match in 2 words?
Yes.
The match ends, and I look at my dad, I look at my brother, and all 3 of us just have the same thought. That's it?
Dang.
It was so weird. Like, it had the energy of a WrestleMania main event match. Like, it's Cena and Cody, you know, and Cody's at the peak of his career. Like, Cody's what people were hoping him to become from his first run, and how he's facing off against Cena. It has, like, the build to it, but, like, you're just watching the match, and, like, nothing feels at that level, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of reminds me of, I'm trying to think which Wrestle Kingdom it was, where, like, the match just, like, didn't feel, like, up to that level, where, like, it kind of reminds me of some, like, AEW main events, where, like, but, like, I don't know, I think the difference with AEW, and maybe even, like, Wrestle Kingdom, is that sometimes it's, like, the time gets to me, and that's why I'm not as invested. Like, this show's been going on forever. Like, I'm
100. That's why I fell asleep. You know, like I know it's 100% why I knocked out, but I saw the entrances. I thought it was funny. Somebody on Instagram goes, "Imagine paying that much money for your ticket, that much money for hotel, for a plane, for everything about that weekend, and you're excited to see John Cena, and his entrance is all black lights and his name once in white letters, and that's it." And you're like, when Cody Rhodes came out with his, like, the second version of his tattoo helmet, last year's was funny. It was cringe. It was giant. He comes out to another one, and then I'm like, in my mind, Jack, going, "Stop trying to make that work, man." It opens up like Iron Man's mask, and, like, I almost fall out of my couch. I'm like, all right, I take it back. It's cool.
But yeah, it's like, you want me to summarize the match, but, like, there's nothing to summarize because it was there. It was just kind of, it was so odd to me. I was like, it just is so odd that, like, it felt like nothing was there. And then Fiend starts playing and Travis Scott comes down. And then, you know, I don't want to, like, spoil right to the ending, but, like, Cena wins. Him and Travis are, like, celebrating. That's it. Like, nothing happens in the post-match, same as night 1. But at least night 1 had, like, the entire match to build up to it with Paul returning. But, like, this one, it was like, it's supposed to be, like, this grand moment. Cena winning the 17th championship, breaking Flair's record. He's on his road to retirement. And, like, it doesn't have any of that, you know? Like, it's the one time that I feel like WWE didn't properly capitalize on a moment and, like, let it breathe. Like, I think you've heard that criticism a lot with a lot of AEW moments where it's like, they didn't let a moment breathe. Like, this felt like that, where it was like, the match ends, Cena has the belt, him and Travis Scott are there, and you're already getting the cut to the ending, and the show ends, and it goes, like, right to the post show, and you're like, This is supposed to be Mania. This is supposed to be Cena's 17th championship. We've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
That's it?
Like I said before, this match didn't feel like, and I saw highlights, like the one Travis Scott highlight. I get the sense that like this is also a WrestleMania match that isn't making the showcase mode. We're not going to relive this match. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like now you play the role of John Cena, roll out of the ring and avoid contact for 15 minutes. Sit on the turnbuckle like a brat. Like. This is becoming of a 17-time world champion. Oh yeah, no, I remember when Ric Flair won his 16th, and he was just playing with his food. That's 100% how that happened. But I think people are really deflated. Like the main event of night one had all the drama and everything you were waiting for. Paul Heyman turned on everybody, right? Like that was cathartic. That was rewarding. This thing was not as rewarding, and there's one person to blame. There is but one soul that left everyone on red, that left everyone unsatisfied. People showed up to that city, Jack, 120,000 of them crazy cats waiting for one man who was in Hawaii for some reason.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of let down by it because it's like it's Mania, and like that's the way.
Sure is.
That's the closing image, Like think of how many
and
closing
crazy
images.
Too? What's crazy too? John Cena turns on everybody. Nobody deserves nothing. He's gonna ruin wrestling. He's the last world champion. And Michael Cole, who's gonna next day have his feelings about Gunther clear and defined, he's like, he's still the GOAT. And you're like, stop. This isn't how you're treating the biggest heel in your company. He's still the greatest. Stop it. He's mean, and he ruined WrestleMania. I like the memes about like reflecting on the main event. It's John Cena himself going, "You deserve nothing." He really paid that forward.
Yeah, and a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's heel Cena." He's doing exactly what his character needs to be doing, but like. Heel turns and like the big heel moments, they still have like defining moments. They still have defining shots, And like I mentioned, like, the closing images of Mania. It's like think of the closing images of like Manias of the past. It's like especially because if we're gonna put it on that level of like babyface turning heel, Austin turning heel at Mania is a defining image. No one's going to look at this 17th world title reign, which is supposed to be historic. No one's going to look at the closing image and really have, like, fond memories of it, like, talk about it so highly. Like, people are just going to be like, oh, yeah, Cena's record-breaking title win was after a meh match, Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't sit right with me. Like, and, like, I don't know. I feel like the whole Cena heel character is like a cop out to that, like it very much reminds me of the whole Sabu I messed up spots on purpose to mess with people.
Wrong place, wrong time, right? Yeah, I 100% get you, sir. And like it doesn't help that like Cody Rhodes is like he took more than a few F5s from AAs from like a few different heights and angles, but like to be destroyed by one low blow and one title shot, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, didn't even have the gall to show up on Monday.
Yeah, and I didn't like the what's it called? I didn't even like the pin that he did. Like I feel like he could have been more like heelish with it.
Yeah.
You want to know what would have been a cool throwback reference is if he pinned Cody the same way that what was it, Kevin Federline pinned him on that one Raw, like all smug, like really cement that heel character we're seeing doing something like that.
Yeah, we'll learn later, Jack, that Travis Scott missed his spot or something. He ruined something.
But that closes Mania for us.
And is Cody going to get his comeuppance? Nope. Randy Orton slid in and made it clear he's coming after Cena in a match that should have main evented WrestleMania.
Oh, man.
So, what was your favorite match from night 2? I think I can guess.
Women's triple threat. Easily.
Women's triple threat, and I think that was my match of the weekend as well.
Yeah, that was so good.
And you say that Tiffany Stratton's entrance was your favorite entrance?
Yeah, I think that one's my favorite. I like the
I gotta go with Damian Priest's Kerry King cameo, which is wild. Like I wouldn't put it past him to be a wrestling fan, but it was still wild to see him like do that. And like really go into it. He was having a pretty good time. Never once made eye contact with Damian. He kept looking for him to give him the horns, like rock on, brother. He was into it. Who do you think, sir, had the best WrestleMania debut besides our boy Wade Barrett?
So let's see. Debuts would be Penta, Phoenix.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull up the matches again so I can. Oh wait, I have the prediction photos here. I'll just look at that. Let's see.
Oh, by the way, night 2, I ended with 2 points.
I think I also ended with 2 points. Yeah, Io and Cena, and that was it. And my dad, same thing. Io, Cena, and that was it. So let's see. Debuts would be Phoenix, Penta, Fatu. Right, because Fatu wasn't at last year's Mania, no.
He didn't even debut until after Mania.
Yeah. Tiffany's first Mania?
Yep.
Is this Braun's first Mania?
I think so, because last Stand and Deliver, he was tag team champions with Baron Corbin, the War Dogs.
Yeah, and then Lyra's first Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Best performance, probably between Fatu. I mean, I'd probably give it to Fatu or Phoenix, one of those two.
Right on. I'd give it to El Grande Americano.
That's a good pick.
Jack, I forgot to tell you. So WWE went and acquired AAA. Isn't that the dangest thing?
Yeah.
And imagine. So I haven't seen NXT Stand and Deliver. They're making this huge announcement. I'm like, wow, what an announcement! They've got all the luchadors standing there proudly, excited about the news, and on the left, who should be standing there but Stephanie Vacour, the NXT Women's Champion? And it just sort of takes a minute. You can hear the clock ticking. You can hear and then the microwave timer ding, and I go, dang it, she retained. And I don't remember when, but like the commentary team definitely go, hey, shout out to Oba Femi. Congratulations on retaining. I'm like, he doesn't even belong here. He doesn't even go here.
Sir, did you ever catch Goto versus Sabre?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I think we're months past you avoiding spoilers for that one.
Yeah. Did you see Sakura Genesis? Did you see Goto versus Finley?
I heard a lot of people. Wait, no, that wasn't the one I heard a lot of people talking about. Who did I see people talking about? There was a Goto match. I was like, I gotta tune in for it. But
was it at Windy City Riots?
let me double check.
I think Goto defended against somebody at Windy City Riots. But that was one of those like New Japan pay-per-views. I'm like, calm down. Some of these aren't very good. Even if they are just $20, like, I don't know, man. I've been hurt. The
Finley match was good. Who was the one I saw? I could have sworn I saw he had like a solo defense against someone. Maybe it was the Finley match that I heard people talking about that they liked. I don't know for sure. It wasn't. I don't think it was soccer jazz. That's the only issue that I'm trying to remember is what was the match, but I can't remember for the life of me.
Was it Windy City Riot Shota Umino versus Goto?
No, I don't think it was that one.
Right on. While you do that, I'll just keep the WrestleMania vibes alive by going bing, 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 bing. Hey, you know what we didn't talk about?
Hmm.
On night one, Shawn Michaels came out, and I didn't realize that he had turned into an 85-year-old man,
Oh,
but with his readers on and with a index card that had numbers written on it so big that everyone could see him, he announced the night one attendance numbers. Night two, living up to the quality of the matches when compared to night one, was the much more engaging and fun Stone Cold Steve Austin that came out in ATV to do the same thing. And it's crazy, Jack. I knew he was out there to announce the attendance numbers, but I don't know. I wondered if everyone in their excitement realized that's what he was going to do and that's all he was going to do. But it wasn't all he did because he hit the barricade with his ATV and knocked the woman down. Jack, when they announced that they were going to start inducting matches and this first match was going to be Bret Hart versus Stone Cold from WrestleMania 13, I thought, what a great way of getting Austin into the city and the building. And he's going to help Cody. And he's going to help Cody. They're going to be like, hey, Steve, you're here, so want to help us out with the main event?
I didn't know there were inducting matches. I didn't hear
This
that.
is the first, and something UFC does. So, the first match to go into the Hall of Fame, Austin versus Austin. Austin versus Bret.
Inducting matches into the Hall of Fame. Wrestling is truly a big nerd sport.
And you know who inducted them?
Huh.
Your boy, Charles Montgomery Punk, the biggest nerd of us all.
That nerd.
Did
And how about Raw? Craziest Raw, like I said, Ricky was blowing up my phone.
you watch it?
Yeah, I got to watch the highlights after. Like we said, Stephanie and Io getting interrupted by all of those people.
Yeah. A tag team title match threatening to happen until Rusev is back.
And Rusev shows up.
In a Instagram post or in a TikTok reel, he looks at the camera walking in the back and he says, I'm back to take what's rightfully mine. And he goes, everything. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. That sounds like some Andrade stuff if I've ever heard it.
And then Orton RKO'd Cena.
He did. Rolled out from under the ring. John Cena out there calling himself the last real world champion, and RKO says, hold my finishing maneuver.
And
Then Paul Heyman is aligned with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
maybe this will make them interesting to you.
Good luck.
Spoiler, it won't.
When he kissed his forehead, I couldn't help but remember that Ryback was also at one point a Heyman guy. They weren't all hit.
If I could joke around a bit and rage bait some wrestling fans, isn't it funny that everyone's complaint was that the Cena main event was boring? And his first defense is likely going to be Randy Orton, who works a slow, methodical style.
Heck yeah. That's super funny.
But after this, I believe our next show is Backlash, right?
Backlash, May 10th.
That's in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How many weeks is that?
Sooner than I think.
2 weeks. And
Golly.
unfortunately, it is on a Saturday, which means I might work.
Oof.
But that's okay, because I put in a schedule change to have Sundays off completely.
Oh, nice.
I had originally put, just not the mornings because of church,
Yeah.
but then it was there was so many times, we would get out of church and we'd have to be rushing to get me to work, so I was like, Sunday, was always a day that my family would, spend together, and spend the
Yeah.
time with one another. So it was like, I want to get back to that and really utilizing that day well. So I like put it in. I was like, hey, I know I originally said that like I could be there for the afternoons, but I need it off completely now.
Nice. Good for you.
But any final thoughts, sir?
Um, A Tale of Two Nights. And night two was really good. And night one, it tried.
Yeah, it tried. It did its
Yeah.
best.
But there's I think more than a few stories and wrestlers that I'm excited to see what's next for them. And none of those are Jey Uso.
Yeah. Here's to hoping I can get back on track with wrestling and
And
music.
you-
I have a huge backlog this year.
Dang, my spring break last week, I listened to the Linkin Park, the new album for the first time, all the way through on a walk, a la Jack. And I listened to an album by a band that was started by the bass player from System of a Down, Shavo.
Mm-hmm.
It's called 7 Hours After Violence, which is like SHAV, like Shavo.
Mm.
To give you a quick summary, I'd listened to that Shavo album again, not the Linkin Park one.
Mm.
That was worth one. That was worth one listen. I was talking to my brother about it, and I said, people really reacted to her the same way they reacted to the Shrek redesign. Like, if you really take a step back, like these guys made a Linkin Park album. Like you're mad about something else. Like this hits all the beats. This is all the parts that a Linkin Park song needs and requires. But yeah, I'm not gonna revisit it. And A Day to Remember came out with an album. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I need to catch up on a huge backlog of music that I have.
I would
I need to
recommend
catch up on a lot of
Day to Remember's whatever their recent album's called.
All right, I got a lot of wrestling to catch up on. I recently just finished my playthrough of a game that came out in 2021.
What was that?
The Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes. I
Ah.
finished that one. Actually, had a lot of fun with it. My Pokemon were named after the nicknames of wrestlers. And my champion team ended up being Shoko Nakajima from Tokyo Joshi Pro. She calls herself the Big Kaiju, so that's what I named one of my Pokemon. Red Death, Daniel Garcia's nickname, was my Caesar, Scyther's evolution. So that was one of them. Protostar, Kyle Fletcher. La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer.
Wow.
The Venus, Mina Shirakawa from Stardom. And then the Mad King, Eddie Kingston.
What Pokemon is the Mad King?
Gengar.
I thought it was gonna be a Nidoking.
No, I don't think that one's available in the game, but I had Gengar, and I was like, I
But
looked
you
at...
can see where I was, or a Kingler.
Yeah,
You can see where I'm going with these.
but I was looking at Gengar, and I'm like, you give Eddie Kingston vibes. I don't know what it is, but you give me Eddie Kingston vibes.
Yeah. Gengar is the round bipedal one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got a shout out. Time Splitter was one that I wanted to take with me to the champion, but I just didn't have, like, it wouldn't make logical sense because I already had two other Pokemon, because the Pokemon I named after, it was like half Steel type, and I already had two other Pokemon that also had half Steel type. I was like, I'm not going in with three half Steel types. Like, that doesn't make sense.
No, that's not strategic.
Yeah, and not only that, it's half electric, and there was nowhere I was going to be able to use electric, especially because one of the Elite Four members is a ground user. So I was like, yeah, as much as this man helped me throughout the entire game, I can't bring him to the champions. And now,
Damn.
I'm playing Pokemon Violet because I've never made it even past the first gym anytime I've tried to play the game. So I'm trying to commit to it.
What console?
Switch.
Ah, right on.
And it's like, I don't know, I don't want to sound like such a nostalgia farmer, but it's just like, I don't know, ever since they went to like the 3D style, it doesn't, like, it's been very difficult to have the same level of like excitement in Pokemon.
Yeah.
And when they did this like somewhat open world for Violet and Scarlet and Violet, it was so difficult because it took so much out of it. Like you can still like randomly encounter Pokemon, but like most of them are roaming in the overworld and like you see them before you encounter. It's like the whole point was to always have a random encounter, and like now they're just all wandering around. And now
Yeah.
you can challenge the gyms in any order, which it's like that's always been sort of a cool concept. Except the game doesn't scale them, so it's like, oh yeah, you can go face the 8th gym leader, but he's gonna be 8th gym leader level while your Pokemon are first gym leader level. Like
I
it's not gonna
see.
properly balance itself.
I see.
But I'm trying to commit myself to play through it and finish it because it's like I bought it with my own money. It's been out for years, and I've yet to get past that first gym leader because I get so bored every time because of how different it is from usual Pokemon games. But I'm like, commit to it, commit to it.
You can do it, Jack. I have a game I've started that I need to finish. I've got a game that I need to start, but I'm in the middle of a different game called Apply to Jobs, Apply to Schools. Probably need to get on that one a little bit first.
And then
Secure that bag.
right now, the Phillies aren't doing too hot, but it's okay because the Eagles won the Super Bowl, so I can always ride that high.
Of course.
But any final thoughts for the audience, sir?
I've got so many other shows that I want to watch that I haven't given up on. Thursday was crazy. There was GCW Bloodsport with so many cameos like Natalia, Karma Petrovich, and Charlie Dempsey. But who was like the crazy anyway, I just avoided enough spoilers. Joey Janela Spring Break. I've got to see. There's a Wrestle Prestige show that I'm gonna put myself down to over the next couple of weeks. Stand and Deliver, I haven't given up on yet. But I made sure to watch WrestleMania because I wanted to make sure to talk to you today. I've enjoyed today's conversation.
And I have as well, sir. And with that, we'll see the listening audience in a couple weeks with Backlash. But until then, I've been Jack, joined by my guest,
Mr. Solis.
Thank you all for joining for another episode.
Fiend.
Oh, man. Thank you all for joining, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.